Now the next thing I'm going to show is an overlay of a regular application. And for this I'm going to change to the scientific mode just to make the calculator bigger. If I come into the calculator display client and I double click on it to open up the wizard, there is a simple checkbox, allow camera overlays. Okay, I'm going to do that. And I run through the wizard. You know, I can run it on different terminals, servers. I've got my program. Now it adds the overlay. So I need to have an overlay, so I'm going to add one, and I'll just call this calc, and it will be over, let's say 500 and down 200, and then it's 320 by 240 is the size of the video that I'm going to display. So this puts the position, and then this tells me the size. That's where the overlay is going to be. I go next, and I go finish. Same thing with oven. I'm going to add an overlay to there. I'm going to add an overlay, and I'll just call it anything. And this one I believe is over 600 down 10, and then this is 320 by 240. Okay. Next, all cameras. I'm going to set the initial camera to that. I'll go finish. I don't remember if I told it what camera to use on calculator, so I'll go back. All cameras available. I'll set that to that one. Okay. Finish. So now if I restart Foxtrot, you'll see that calculator now has a video, oven now has a video, and then each of these cameras have one video or 4. And if I shadow it, you can see that on calculator I have this video showing up. And this is an overlay. As you can see, I'm moving the application behind it, and it's showing up on top. So you can add this to a application and have it show up. On the oven, I've got the camera showing here, and I've made a spot on my HMI screen to do that. The idea that on an oven you might have cameras at either end. You could have a terminal running your HMI on one end and have another terminal shadowing it using the terminal shadow, so that regardless of where the operator is, they've got their HMI where they can control it. But if you're at the downstream side, you may want to know what's on the upstream. If you're at the upstream, you may want to see the downstream. So you could put the camera in there and set it so that you could look at either one. So regardless of where you are, you're going to see what's going on at the other end. And that gives you the ability to see more than you normally would. You can do a simple change. And so that's the power of the camera, is you can include it into an application, or you could have a whole screen where a person can do nothing but monitor cameras. And in the case of like multi-monitor, you could devote one monitor to just cameras. And in fact, I'll do that. I'm going to click on multi-monitor, run its wizard, and I'm going to take this help off and this help off, and I'm going to put the camera 4 on it instead. I'll go finish, and I'll need to restart that. And then when that comes up, I'll have a one whole thing devoted to it. Now the other thing that I find interesting, and when you shadow it, you'll see the camera is only being sent to the terminals that are the output that's being displayed. This is the terminal booting up right now. So for example, on camera 1, I've got this one overlay which is active. If I switch to calculator, it will go inactive and the calculator one will go active. So you're only sending the video of anything at any one time to a single place, so you're not using up a tremendous amount of load. This is the multi-monitor, which is still booting up. It'll be up here in a second. You'll see it go blue. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now you can see in the multi-monitor I have the oven, the tank farm, I have calculator with that camera, and then I have one screen which is nothing but cameras. So that in the control room I could, if I shadow it, I can have my applications running, I could have my HMIs, I can have another program running here, and then I've got one screen that's showing nothing but cameras so that I can observe whatever's happening on the floor from the control room, so that you can monitor either for security purposes or just to watch the process, or see what's going on at the loading dock, see the pace of things. Whatever way you want, you're able to display the cameras. And so it's a relatively simple thing. You add it to the network, you define it as a server, tell it what the IP address is and what size the output is going to be, and then you can add it in to display clients either as standalone camera display clients or into the HMI. And one of the things that I won't show you today, but I can tell you about, is our ActiveX will allow you to hide and move the camera, so that you could, on this HMI, you could have the camera there, but you could have it so that it only shows when you look at the oven. If you switch to the tank farm screen, that camera would be hidden, so it wouldn't be blocking the tank farm. So these could be part of the same HMI application, and the camera could be revealed on the oven and hidden on the tank farm, and so you can have a dedicated HMI screen that's only going to cover the camera on that screen. So if within your HMI, if you wanted to see the camera, you could add a camera screen, add a camera button. When you click on it, you could have a couple of overlays with the different cameras, so it isn't hiding the other things. So in summary, the IP camera is an easy way to expand the horizon of the operator and to increase visibility on the plant floor. You add the camera to the network using the configuration tools that the camera provides. You define it as a display server, and you deploy it as a display client. And you can have that display client have multiple overlays, a single camera or multiple cameras. And as you have seen, that same camera feed can be sent to multiple overlays, multiple terminals, so it's usable many other places. And those overlays can be added to another application. And you have scaling, cropping, and cycling that can be added to give you a little bit more interesting feature set if you need it. So I'd like to thank you. We're online, as you know, ThinManager.com. If you're interested in IP cameras, the ThinManager 101 covers it some more. The ThinManager 303 covers it in great detail. And I'd like to thank you. And if you have any questions, you can email me, pburns@thinmanager.com. You can send to support@thinmanager.com, sales@thinmanager.com, or support@thinmanager.com. And we'll be glad to help you. And with that, I'd like to thank you all, and I am closing the production. Thank you very much.